Hey everybody, welcome to Miscast Commentary, a coming attractions episode. I am Joe Finley. Todd Tebow the Sailor Murray could not get out today. I'm recording this quite late. It's like 11:30 and he's still working right now. So we could not get him for this week, but you'll hear from him next week in our next movie for our Summer of Sequels. But we'll get to that later. First off, I need you guys to be my therapy session for a little bit because today my car got broken into and it was a bummer. And what's weird is nothing was taken. I mean, I opened up my car and I just noticed that everything was out of my glove compartment and my little console in the middle there, and all my USB cables and my things were all unplugged and just thrown on the ground. And so I started searching through everything and everything was still there. Like I had like lottery tickets sitting in there, and I mean, probably not the winners, but it's still, I mean, you know, it could, like, it was something of potential value, and they didn't, and that was small, that they took nothing, and I was really thrown off. And actually I ran into a former guest of the show, Fearless Fred Kennedy, and I was saying this to him, and he's like, did you leave your door open? I'm like, I don't think so. And I was like, it was locked when I got here. They're like, how'd they get in? And I'm like searching all around the car just to make sure nothing's broken or whatever. It didn't look like there was any kind of Jimmy marks or anything like that. So, I mean, really, there's only one thing. And another important point, too, is that I call my car the Scarlet Witch. So, Agatha? Did you do this? Or if we're getting into multiverse stuff, Loki? It's a really good way to transition into Loki, though, don't you think? I didn't do that to do that, but like I wanted to talk about it anyway, so let's just get it out of the way right now. Loki, guys, we didn't get to talk about it last week because we were doing a movie. It was fantastic. What a good series. I was bummed that it was only 6 episodes, but I'm happy when they're like, this is the length of time it takes to tell this story. So I'm happy about that, like in that thing. And it was hour-long episodes, so I'm down with that. All in all, good. My only, if I were to create a complaint, just, you know, to be another person on the internet complaining, would be that the last episode was really, really kind of like toned down compared to the one before that. Like you were, you know, doing all sorts of stuff in that one. You've got Richard E. Grant building Asgard out of a mirage, and you've got like just a lot of action, a lot of craziness, a lot of fun. Alligator Loki, right? But then the other one, it was basically like a 3-person sit down and chat for the entire episode. And I'm not saying that was bad. It was well done. And the guy playing, who we presume to be Kang, right? We're all presuming that. Really good. And everybody performed really well. And then just the icing on the cake to find out that we've been renewed for another season. I am a part of the team, as I claim it as now. And yeah, so it's really exciting. It was funny because I got double disappointed too, because I didn't get to watch it like right when it came out. I watched it the next day because I was waiting for my wife, which I gotta stop promising to do that. But a spoiler thing popped up, and it said like, this big spoiler came out, blah blah blah, and it had a picture of Doctor Strange, and I'm like, oh my god, Doctor Strange is gonna appear in this? I'm like, that's pretty cool. But then I'm like, oh, it got spoiled for me. But then I watched the episode, then it didn't happen. I was waiting for a post-credits or something like that, and it didn't actually happen. I was like, oh, it didn't happen. Oh, but good, it didn't get spoiled for me. Like, there's no pleasing me. None. And speaking of things that aren't pleasing me, Activision Blizzard, fuck you guys hard. Like, what a bunch of garbage human beings. And I mean, people who kind of just read this on the surface, probably just read, oh, frat boy, whatever. But I mean, the deeper and deeper you go into it, just like purposefully holding back women from jobs because they might get pregnant or this or that. And the idea of, you know, there's a woman at a retreat, who works there gets nude pictures of herself tossed around, passed amongst the guys. This woman ends up killing herself at the end of one of these retreats. I don't know. I've tried to kind of figure out, but I don't know if it was the same retreat or a different retreat. But the level of garbage you need to be treated like for that to be the kind of the end point is just next level. So, I mean, go ahead and, boycott these guys. Do whatever you feel is the best way to deal with this. I'm not gonna tell you how to react to it, but like, God, you just can't treat people this way, guys. We live in a world where we shouldn't have to say these things, yet we're now in a world where we have to say it more than ever, and you'll get people arguing with you. Well, you're infringing on my freedom to treat people like shit. I'm like, no, you don't have that freedom. It's gone. Okay? Treat people nicely and then talk shit about them behind their back like a true human being. But, yeah, I can't stand for that. I can't stand for any form of racism, any form of homophobia, transphobia, sexism, just flat out misogyny. I feel like there's a real kind of jump between sexism and misogyny is just this, a sexism would be like just kind of a different treatment of the sex, where misogyny is just a flat out, you are woman, I despise you for being woman. Yeah, I don't know. I know this is supposed to be funny, but fuck those guys. And then fuck them for tweeting about like a Crash Bandicoot like special, bulk package or whatever the hell they were doing. And I loved watching the responses to that, where people are like, oof, and like read the fucking room. And for God's sakes, you knew this was happening because you guys have lawyers. So maybe it's like, hey, let's just go radio silent for a little while. And not till it blows over, but until, you can, put together your statement of what you want to do. Like that thing that Mark Zuckerberg always has to do and has to come on and apologize for the shitty things Facebook did for the last year until the next year, where he has to come back and do it all again because he's learned no lesson whatsoever. So yeah, rant over. Let's talk more about just fun pop culture stuff. Very excited for, theaters to be back open in Canada, and I know they've been open for a while in the States, but we haven't had the opportunity yet to take advantage of that, and, well, at least here. And sure enough, the theaters are all open. I'm ready to go. I've got a weekend off. It's Snake Eyes versus Old. Like, ugh. This is my whole reaction to the entire week. Shrug emoji. Yeah, nothing of note to say about any of that. I'm actually, as much as I wasn't looking forward to it before, I didn't really care. I'm kind of geared up for Jungle Cruise now. The vibe looks a lot cooler, and for a whole nother reason too, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson just produced a docuseries for Disney Plus, which is out now, called Behind the Attraction, and yours truly got to watch it ahead of time. I got to see the whole series a few weeks ago, and I wrote a review for it, and then I did a video review for it on this very channel if you are watching on YouTube. So go on the Miscast Commentary YouTube if you are listening to this in podcasty form, and you can see everything I had to say about it there. But it's basically like a mini documentary between 35 and 45 minutes thereabouts. Each episode has just like the history of a famous attraction at Disney. So it starts with Star Tours, and there's Haunted Mansion, Space Mountain, It's a Small World, Jungle Cruise, which is why, that's kind of where it all came from, and a bunch of other ones. There's 10 in all for the season, but it's cool because it didn't take up all of the big rides. Like, it's not like they just kind of blew their wad on all the ones that you'd be most interested in. And I mean, that's not to say that the ones that they did or any of the ones they did weren't interesting. The ones that I thought were going to be the most boring were actually very interesting. I learned more about them because I didn't know as much about them before, so that's what made it kind of interesting. If you want something to compare it to, if you've not seen it or you're interested, The Toys That Made Us on Netflix is a great example of the kind of style that this is. It's funny, it's quick, but it's just packed with stuff. So I know I'm kind of doing the review all over again. You can go and watch it. I'll put the card up in the corner wherever it goes on YouTube. You can go check that out. But that leads me into just a whole nother thing, something I've only talked about a little bit on here. I've been partnering with the people at CGM, which is Comics Gaming Monthly, cgmagonline.com, and I've been writing some reviews for them lately, and I've been getting to test all sorts of stuff, and I'm doing a little behind-the-scenes microphone test. So again, if you're watching, you're going to see this little thing sticking up in the middle here. This is a new microphone that I am testing. This is the first time I'm ever recording with it. I will be doing a video review for this on my own personal channel, miscastjoe, so you can go check that out. I'll put another card up here, I guess, and you can go and subscribe to that channel too if you're so inclined. And I do more of a kind of like tech and streaming and like that sort of thing over there. So yeah, lots to learn. You can see behind the scenes stuff from this show, from when I might work on Dueling Decades, and then getting to play with all this awesome gear. So yeah, you can check all that out. And as of next week, so the 27th, my big article will be dropping, which is a brand of the year for Elgato. They just did like a gigantic announcement where they announced a bunch of different pieces of equipment, of a webcam, audio control interface, new mic arms, all sorts of stuff. Like, they covered everything in this. And yeah, so to me, I nominated them for one of the brands of the year. It's up against Sony, Nintendo, Dyson, Microsoft. I think that's it. Sorry if I'm throwing shade at somebody that I'm forgetting. But yeah, you can go to the website, and I'll put the link down below, and you can go there and you can vote for maybe my idea for Elgato. I don't know that there's anything behind that. I know they said they were doing like another tally to see who like the winner was, like amongst us and stuff like that. And I don't know if that means there's a prize involved or if it's just a matter of personal pride, but I lack a lot of personal pride and I need your guys' help. So let's get that going. What else do we got? New TV, but old TV. CSI's back, baby. So basically, William Peterson and Georgia Fox are coming back to play their characters from the original CSI. It's going to be called CSI Vegas, and it's just kind of a sequel to the original. The guy who played Hodges will also be back, but those are the only returning characters, at least as regulars, and then a bunch of other people will be joining. Mel Rodriguez, who you might know from Better Call Saul or from The Last Man on Earth, things like that. He will be in the series too. I'm really looking forward to it because the only CSI I ever liked was the original with the original cast. Specifically William Peterson, though, because he was awesome. And I think it probably comes a little bit too with a play we did. He was in the screen version of that play. So, you know, I'm easily manipulated like that, I guess. But yeah, just another thing to check out if you're so inclined, if you're old like me and are down with procedurals. But let's get to next week's movie in our Summer of Sequels. We're giving you another banger, guys. It's not a blockbuster like our last one was, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. Again, it's a sequel to a movie that we have covered before. Just a little hint, which is dumb that I'm giving a hint because I'm about to tell you in like 3 seconds. But the hint was the episode title was originally Daddy Was a Dilly Bar. We're doing Best of the Best 2. Let's have a listen to that trailer.
Are you ready to rumble? What a team sport. Are you ready to rumble? 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 becomes a blood sport.
Did you kill Travis Brickley?
Easily. Only the best survive.
Bring me the one who did this. No one after him. We gotta do something.
I am one of 3 people that can teach you to be miraculous. If you're gonna fight him, you must be prepared to die.
I look forward to killing you.
Don't bet on it.
Eric Roberts, Philip Reed, best of the best 2. This time,
You love it, yeah!
it's the fight of their lives.
So yeah, spoiler, Chris Penn dies. They blow that right away in the trailer. It's a super interesting sequel just because it's so crazy different. You go from a karate tournament to underground fighting and all this like kind of craziness going on. It's a lot of fun. It's a bad movie, but it's the good kind of bad. And it contains Sonny Landham, who is just a nightmare. But I will say, apropos of nothing, guys who are listening to the audio podcast, come on YouTube. I'm going to tell you, it's the biggest place we are right now by a lot. We had, in the past month, we've had like 6,000 views, and that's huge. And I really thank everybody who has been checking us out, and I want to thank our new subscribers, some people who saw some of the shorts that we released over the week and said that this was something they wanted to check out. So I'm sorry that Todd's not here to join me with this one, but I'm glad that you guys are here. Zach, you're one of them. See, I say their names sometimes when they subscribe. I'm just saying. If you are still with us right now, make sure to click like and subscribe and stuff like that. It helps me get seen by cool people like Zach. So until next week, when Todd is back with me, and we're covering a crazy martial arts movie that probably never should have been made, but thank God it was, because it's, another hour and a half of content that we can do for you guys, then we're very, very happy to be able to do that. So until then, you can find us at miscastcommentary.com. Podcast at miscastcommentary.com is our email. Twitter at miscastpodcast. I'm at miscastjoe. Todd's at miscasttodd. Instagram at miscastcommentary, and I'm at miscastjoe there. And same as TikTok at miscastcommentary, and I'm at miscastjoe there. So you'll see, you can find us anywhere. All you have to do is have the will to look. Until next week, guys. We'll see you later. Bye.
This has been Miscast Commentary with your hosts, Joe Finley and Todd Murray. Executive producer, Joe Finley. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. Visit www.miscastcommentary.com for all news related to the podcast. Miscast Commentary is a Miscast Media production.